Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Untapped Podcast. My name is Jacob Gabel.
And my name is Jacob Wurtz, guys. Welcome to episode 176 of the Untapped Podcast. If this is your first time joining us, first of all, thank you. We are thrilled to have you here with us. We actually have 5 main formats of our show. So first, we have Forging Fortitude episodes. Now, in these episodes, we cover the mental side of our brand. Now, in these ones, we go over our anecdotal experiences with things like mindset and mentality. We then pass on tips and advice to you guys to then apply to your own lives. Next, we have Physical Vitality episodes. Now, in these episodes, we cover the physical side of our brand. So we really get to showcase our expertise because you have 2 certified personal trainers here. Now, in these ones, we cover everything that we offer through our fully custom Untapped training app. So if you guys have any questions or curiosities about what we can offer, please get a hold of us because we are more than willing and able to help you get the results that you want. Now, in addition, we also cover everything to do with the gym, workouts, nutrition, diets, supplements, mental toughness programs like 75 Hard, for example. And then at times, we will also take trending articles or topics within the fitness industry and give our thoughts and opinions on those. Now, guys, these Physical Vitality episodes, just like this one today, are full of free game, so make sure you pay attention.
Nice work, dude. Exciting stuff. Now, on to our third format, ladies and gentlemen. That is our breaking news format. It is a current event-based format. We touch on current events, current articles going on in today's world. Now, keep in mind, a lot of the content you see around current events is very doom and gloom and the negative side of things. We are here to also provide the solution-based side to those episodes. Now, on to our fourth format. That is our Knights Table format. Is a masculinity-based format. We touch on things like toxic masculinity, if it's real, what it really is. We touch on things like fatherhood, and then also male-based topics in general and how important men are to the future of the world. That was our last episode, actually, talking about where men purposely stunted. Now, keep in mind, I'm 27. Wurtz is 27. Our producer, Mitch, is 25. Because of that reason, we are not coming to you as some all put-together perfect man. The only perfect man to ever walk this earth is Jesus Christ. Now, on to our fifth format. That is our guest format. We sit down with entrepreneurs, fitness professionals, athletes, doctors, anybody with a great story or somebody who brings you value in general. We learn a lot from these episodes. You are also going to learn a lot from these episodes. Our final thing to introduce before we start the episode is our producer and my brother, Mitch Gabel.
Yo! What's up, fellow mustache man?
What's up?
Feels
We're
good.
part of the club.
That's right.
Yeah, I got to join you guys, 100%.
Yeah, we're working on it, guys, trying to get him on.
Are you handlebar? No, you're just
kind of like half.
You guys are both partial handlebar.
He's got a little more handlebar going.
Mine was a little longer last night, but then I kind of looked dorky, so I got rid of it.
Yeah.
Handlebars are hard to pull off, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
that's why I kind of went.
Oh yeah, brother.
Just above
Hulk.
Just above.
HH, brother.
Okay.
Wurtz is like, what the hell? We start this episode with.
You two crack me up sometimes.
I will say too. Announcements wise, we at this point in time, when you're hearing this episode, our workout will have happened. Men's workout.
Yes.
So last Saturday before you heard this episode, guys. One, thank you to all who came out to this one.
Yes.
And then also all of our announcements for these workouts and events like this, because we're working a lot of other community events as well, will be on the podcast as well, along with on our social media, of course. Sure. But just keep an eye out. If you miss this men's workout, then keep an eye out for the next ones. Whether it's cold outside or not, we'll be making these things happen.
Definitely.
Because we work out in the cold outside, so should you.
Yeah.
So
the snow ones are fun.
Oh, gosh. Yeah,
very fun.
They're awesome.
And the coming big announcement on the Physical Vitality side of the brand is coming. It is coming.
Yes.
And it's huge.
It is.
Yes.
Massive.
Yeah.
Very excited
Seriously,
about that.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
This is not going to be one of those things that we just forever tease on either. Our timeline is a little unclear at this point in time that we're recording right now, which is Tuesday the 14th. So for all we know, by the time you guys are hearing this, it'll actually be live. But very, very exciting. We're not going to say yet, but very, very exciting.
Just in case. Yeah, right.
Don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves here. So, Mitch.
Yes.
Do you have a fact of the day for us?
I do.
Let's hear it.
The average person will walk the distance of around the equator 5 times in their lifetime.
That's it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's an ass ton of words.
Do you know how long that is?
I mean, it's like
6,000?
It's multiple thousands of miles.
One time around the equator?
Yeah, it's one time.
Do that in a year. Maybe not in a year.
Fat Wurtz definitely didn't do that.
Well, definitely not.
Fat Wurtz probably walked the equivalent of 20 feet in multiple years.
Fastest way to the closet.
Or its step count per day was like under 2K every single day. It's like, that's insane.
Shuffles everywhere.
Yeah, because the question, that actually is interesting that you say that, Wurtz, because it's like, does this factor in like average activity in general for everybody? This fact.
Well, yeah, I don't think it's just dedicated
It's
exercise.
from Carnegie Mellon. So
Carnegie Mellon.
It must be official.
Must be. Dumbass name. Carnegie's cool. Andrew Carnegie and Steel King right there. No, I my curiosity is like, imagine you think of like one of those like Kenyan marathon runners.
Yeah.
What are they going like 15 times around the equator or something like that?
Right.
Like in a lifetime?
It just that doesn't through a whole lifetime, because what's the average lifespan? It's like 70 something.
In the US it's like I think 77 for males, 80 for women or something like that, or 81 for women or something.
So you would think through give or take 80 years, you would cover the circumference of the Earth more than 5 times.
Well, I'm trying to imagine here.
Should we try to walk the whole Earth?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Just walk it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, it's like those guys who run cross country. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, like
where they go coast to coast.
Literally cross
That's
country.
crazy to me.
Yeah.
Oh my,
well,
badass. Louis did it with roller skates. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Shout out Louis for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm trying to think here. What would be all right, Matt? Let's imagine you do 30 miles in a month.
So 1 mile a day.
So 3. Let's say yeah. And this is just lowballing it in this scenario.
Yeah.
Obviously. Yeah. I mean, that would technically be less than a mile a day. But yeah, you do 365 miles a year, 80 years. Still doesn't add up. Still doesn't make sense to me.
No.
Still not adding
Mitch,
up.
you just lied to us.
Yeah.
Fact is supposed to be truth. It's not the lie of the day. It's the fact of the day. Yeah. We might have to rethink this portion of the episode.
We're gonna have to scrap it, put it in the scrap bin.
Okay, we've probably spent way too much time on the fact of the day now.
Yes, true. All
right, what are we talking about?
What are we talking about? The title is absolutely hilarious, and purposely, guys, because it's supposed to catch your attention. That's kind of the idea. Because then we bring you in for value as you get it. It's how to avoid becoming a twink. Can't even take it seriously.
For the record here, we were losing it coming up with a good title for this.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Because we could have put like how to become a meatball or something,
Which is also funny.
How to become a beefcake, it could have been something like that.
A juice box, as Nick would say.
Tom Yanovich, the man. Nick's content's awesome. Free shout out for him for sure. But how to avoid becoming a twink. It came around because of the idea of that. Honestly, partially inspired by the last episode where men purposely stunted. And we were kind of talking about the lack of masculinity in a lot of ways. So the prevalence of twinkishness is quite common.
Sure.
Nowadays.
Well, and it's also due to the high volume of Twinkies being eaten by a lot of people nowadays.
That's what we're going with?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well.
Do people still eat Twinkies? Is that a thing?
I would imagine
I've never been
some
a
portion of the
Twinkie
population
fan.
probably rips those little Debbie things and stuff like that, like the zebra cakes and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was always more of a fan of the ding dongs than the Twinkies. I should have thought about that before I said that.
Yeah, I was like, wow, you just walked yourself into that one, didn't you? Of course you're a fan of the ding dongs. But actually
scrap that part.
But yeah, just slice that out of the episode. But actually, like the real truth behind this is that this is partially inspired, guys, because of the fact that we've talked about the idea of becoming dangerous before, all that stuff, being able to protect your family as well. And the idea, for those of you that don't know what the hell a twink is too, and like what we're referring to here, is that this is basically like a man who's a victim. A man who's 6 foot tall, but he's 140 pounds. A man who is, 5'6", but makes excuses with that, and he's 130 pounds or something like that, et cetera. Obviously, we're not talking about the Demetrius Johnsons of the world
Sure.
who are 125 pounds, but could murder you within inside of 30 seconds.
Correct.
Obviously, we're not talking about guys like that. We're talking about guys that are just physically inept in general, would probably be a better term for this overall.
But Twink for short.
But Twink for short. Yeah, just because it's just easier and funnier by a long shot. But starting point is to not only do cardio.
Correct.
Those of you that have listened long enough, you know we are big advocates of both strength training and cardio. But we are never advocates of just one.
Correct.
We've talked about power lifters before and how a lot of the times there's no prioritization of cardio. We're just kind of amateur power lifters a lot of times.
Jigglypuffs.
Jigglypuffs is the word that's often used there, yes. So that's the opposite end of things in a lot of ways there, where a lot of times where you think of the physically inept men, you think of men that just run, they might do a bunch of running challenges all the time, like marathons, 5Ks, and half marathons, and stuff like that, or maybe even ultra marathons. Those guys are more badass, though, the ultra marathoners.
For sure. And also usually jacked.
Usually, yes.
Thinking about like the Goggins and Nick Bears of the
Nick Bear,
world.
Truett Haynes, Cameron Haynes' son. Oh, beast. That dude's a freak, dude.
Unbelievable.
But the point remains is that we actually really like that people are chasing a lot of cardiovascular challenges like the Ironmans, the marathons, et cetera, like the ultra marathons.
High Rocks could probably
High Rocks could technically figure into that, but most of the High Rocks people are just yacked out of their minds.
Absolutely.
Like all of them.
Yeah.
But the point remains is that when we look at this, if you do not also pair your high volume cardio with strength training, you will be missing a large portion of benefits when it comes to exercise in general. You're basically skipping out on the portion that makes your joints, bones more dense, joints stronger, bones more dense. You have better tendon and ligament stiffness in general when it comes to strength training and whatnot. You have more power, which, by the way, speed and power are the two things that decline the most as age goes along. It's not even necessarily like cardiovascular health or something like that.
Because most people don't train those.
Exactly. So speed and power just plummet to the ground and it's gone.
Right.
While those things are also very important indicators of longevity as well.
Correct.
So the point remains is that we're saying not only do cardio, because also you're not going to be getting the well-rounded version of you health-wise anyways if you don't do that.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. Well, and that's why you often see a lot of these endurance-only athletes or endurance-only people. You can just take a look at them and see that they are lacking in all those things. And maybe not necessarily, it's harder to see from the outside, the joint health and things like that, but they often get minor injuries more often. They are often underweight and look malnourished. And that's because they're not putting any focus into that muscle building and strength training that you were just talking about. And so we've outlined plenty of times the importance of doing both. But it is very, very obvious who doesn't incorporate both ways, for that matter.
Absolutely.
Both ways, because you have the guys and gals that only focus on strength training. Well, anytime there's any type of endurance that's required for whatever they're doing, they're pretty much unable to do it.
Or they just cop out. They're
out.
I don't do cardio.
Yeah, right. And so the endurance levels are just basically non-existent.
Yes.
And that could be something as simple as playing a football game with your friends.
Which can also be devastating in the opposite manner too. It means you don't have a healthy heart.
Yeah, exactly. And then on the other side, as I just outlined, you have the people who neglect the strength training and they have no muscle mass on them physically and to the eye. But almost in the same ideas, when they are in any kind of situation that requires some sort of muscular ability, they're doing the same thing. They're copping out. They don't have the longevity for it. They don't have the endurance for it. Why would you want to be like that?
Yep.
And also, if you're only focused on one, I think the challenge and the excitement kind of goes by the wayside a bit. If you're putting focus into both, I know I don't do 50-50. It's not 50% strength training and 50% cardio.
Right. Yeah.
But if you are able and you choose to incorporate both, that challenge and that the goal setting continues. It continues to progress, because while you might not be a runner, quote unquote, you can still work on lowering your mile time. You can still work on getting to a 5K. You can still work on getting to a 10K and beyond. So there's still goals to set, because you already know about the goals in the gym. That's, I would say it's easier to track progress in the gym because it's easy to know if you're going up or down in weight.
Yeah.
Not that it's not easy to tell if you're going up or down in time or distance. To me anyway, it feels like numbers in the gym are easier to track.
The harder thing to track would be like sprints, for example. Like
sure,
because you're either going to have to hand time it, which is a lot of times inaccurate,
for sure,
or you're going to have like what your old job had when it's an actual timing system
where you have lasers. And
Most
stuff.
people don't have lasers or anything like that, like inaccessibility to
because it's not it's not an overly, for just a person who's not in sports or not training for a sport, it's not an overly useful thing to have. Now, if you got cash to throw around, then sure, get you some lasers, and have some fun with it.
And we'll have stuff like that in the future, 100%.
Well, for sure,
as a part of our programming and training too.
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly. So there's 100% of time and place for that. I don't want that to sound like I'm hating on laser timing or anything like that.
Right.
But the other option would be to have your buddy time you on his phone, which is still not going to be 100% accurate. Would you get a better reading from that than self-timing? For sure.
Yeah, right.
But you're still dependent on their reaction time. You getting an accurate time is probably more dependent on their reaction time than your speed.
Yeah.
So it can be difficult to track the sprints for sure.
And obviously nowadays with cardio, tracking that with watches is much easier. Again, we're mainly talking to a United States-based audience, so most of our audience likely has some type of smart watch or at least has access to get one. So, pretty naturally, that's very easy to track overall because you can, again, track your improvement in mile time. And it's going to be pretty accurate because the GPS technology is really good on the watch. And
Garmin gang only,
right? Correct. Not allowed anywhere else or any other watch, not allowed.
Nope.
So yes, tracking wise, you're right. With the weights is super easy because you're always going to be able to track numbers. Even if you're to memorize it, like you should hypothetically be able to memorize. Okay, I just did this last week.
Right,
shouldn't be that hard. But
it's 70s.
We always say to obviously track that programming wise and keep an idea written down your notes or something like that, or on an actual program like the Untapped app, for example. Now, again, when it comes to this, not only doing cardio, my ending point here a little bit is, it really, like we're saying, it doesn't have to be that you turn into a weightlifter if you're a big fan of cardio primarily.
Correct.
It just means the 1 to 2 days a week, preferably at least 2 days a week of strength training, an upper and lower day or 2 full body days. You'll be able to cover a good amount of your bases at that point in time too. It's the same thing as like martial arts athletes. 2 days of weight training is a pretty good point to be at for them. And they're mainly cardiovascular based athletes in a lot of ways too.
Sure.
And that's been shown to be very important for their sport and whatnot, because obviously, again, strength training is going to help with your longevity and your resilience long term. And again, too, I don't think anybody that's 130, 140 pounds and is like fits into this category we're talking about right now, I don't think they're going to sit here and be like, yeah, I'm okay with the fact that I'm basically going to get manhandled by anybody that would really want to. Like if you stepped into a jiu-jitsu gym, you would be a liability. Like you wouldn't be able to do anything in that scenario. So that's not really like confidence inducing either.
For sure.
As we're talking about here
too.
For
sure. And also at the same time as well, you're going to just all around look better too. You're going to be happier with your physique because, again, most runner only people or cardio only people don't really have a very good physique. Yeah, they might have clear cut abs. They might even be a little bit vascular and things like that. But that's just because they're so low on weight and therefore also so low on body fat. But if you start incorporating, even if it is just the 2 days a week of strength training, like you just said, which by the way, 2 days can be extremely good. Like as long as you make those 2 days very or of high quality, like you're gonna be fine. We're
programmed in with your cardio as well.
Yeah. We're not saying you need to just completely drop the cardio and go 6 days a week in the gym and all this. Like that's not what we're saying. But getting more muscle mass on you is only a good thing. Like it really is, you know?
We actually, with one of our former podcast guests, season 2, episode 4 with Mr. Trent Ruckman, we actually had him doing almost identical that when he was doing I believe at the time it was half marathon training he was doing.
Yes.
If I'm correct
I think
on that.
so.
Yeah. And he was doing half marathon training, and we programmed in just 2 days of strength.
Yeah.
And gave him kind of an open sheet, so to speak, outside of that for the cardiovascular aspect, and he crushed it.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Well, and everything we just said perfectly goes into our final point here. And that's to lift. In case you couldn't tell.
In case you couldn't catch that drift.
That's where we were going with that. But also eat. And eat a lot.
Yes.
Eat a lot.
Especially, and again, we're not talking to an obese crowd here.
Obviously.
With this episode, like, if you're obese, you can't be a twink.
Yeah.
You're just a fat ass.
You're just fat.
Yeah, which I don't know which one's worse. But anyways, the point remains is like, you're right. When I was at my point, my twink stage. Yeah.
Continue.
Yep. Right. And this means like especially junior and senior year of high school. This was the time where I was in that stage where I was 160, 170 pounds and I was 6'4". Victim. Big time victim. And realistically what it was is my parents were feeding both Mitch and I at the time very well, but it still wasn't enough.
Yeah.
We were probably at the mark of like about 3,000 to 4,000 calories a day. I was playing hockey multiple times a week. I was strength training in our strength training class.
Still playing lacrosse.
Still playing lacrosse as well during this time.
Is that in the spring for high school?
Technically in the high school
for boys.
In the spring for high school. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I think there's club is fall now. I believe for that time, but for lacrosse. But
so
anyways.
no overlap with hockey is really where I was going.
Yeah, it was like the last game of the season would have been interlapped with the lacrosse season. That's about it. Yeah. So again, the point remains is like, you're right. It was activity all year round.
Yeah.
And I needed more like 5,000 to 6,000 calories a day if I was going to put on weight and not be at the point I was at the time.
Yeah.
When I got to college, I realized that. Was still very active in college because it's very easy to be active in college because there's so many rec sports you can do. There's so many, you can go and play with your friends at the rec, depending on what type of school you go to. You can go to a field with your friends. You have so much to do that way. You're probably still finding strength training. Like myself, I found strength training for the first time in college. So that was also a factor. I also had dining hall access and I used it big time used it. I was by the time first semester, I think of freshman year ended, I was 200, 205, give or take, in a good way.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah.
And it just kept going up from there, and obviously like I brought it back a couple of times with jiu-jitsu, brought it back up when I was trying to get strong like now and whatnot. So the point remains, it's like I found the formula, so to speak, and the formula works every single time with somebody who is at that really, really skinny phase.
Yeah.
Phase.
It does not help increase your ability to speak, though.
No, doesn't help your English, apparently, at all. Sadly enough, even though proper nutrition should do that. But yeah, but the point remains is you're right. Literally, the point is eat. It doesn't have to be super complex if you're in that scenario.
Correct.
Everybody, what do you and I always hear from people that are at this stage? I eat a lot. I really do. I really do. You don't?
It's like you really don't.
No.
Yeah.
And not to mention you sit down at a meal with them and you're like, oh, I see why you're skinny. You know what I mean?
And this goes exactly with the story you just told about yourself, but the amount of high school athletes that I've trained over the last several years, they all say that as well. They all say they want to put on weight. Most of them should be putting on weight. Yeah. There's certainly some that don't. And Mitch and I would have fallen into that category, but to focus on the other side here, the amount of high school athletes, especially the high school boys, and honestly, truthfully, a lot of the girls too, because I have trained high school athlete girls as well, but especially on the boys' side, they tell you how much they eat, but it's not true. And they're not purposely deceiving you or anything like that. They feel like they're eating a lot. They do, because their parents are still likely saying, 2,000 calories is all you need. And, we're talking about 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids. They don't understand this yet. And that's fine. That's why our job exists.
Right.
That's why our job exists. But you get these kids, and I've talked about this plenty in the past, but I'm a big advocate for tracking the food. You get them to do it for even just a day. and they come back to you and it's like, Jake, I realized how much I was not eating. It's like, I know, dude. I know.
Trust
but I'm
me.
glad you know it now.
Yep,
You know, it
right.
wasn't about me, like, told you so, you know, nothing like that. It's like, okay.
Get your weight up.
Yeah.
That. No,
yeah.
it was like, hey, there's the honest truth.
Exactly.
Yep.
And it's like, now is where we start, and we have to increase this. We have to. If you truly want to be putting on weight, I believe you should be. You want to be. Okay, let's do it. You have to trust me that you are not eating enough. You feel like you're eating a lot, but you're just not. And when you're trying to put on weight, you have to force yourself past that point of feeling full and or eat more often throughout the day. And that's usually a little bit easier for people rather than just eating more in one sitting.
Yep.
I would say the majority of people would rather just eat more throughout the day because, you know, it can be very uncomfortable pushing yourself past the point of being full. Just like on the other side, it can be very difficult to stop yourself from getting to that point, you know, when you're trying to lose weight. But if you're truly serious about your goals, you have to be willing to do what it takes.
Yeah.
You know?
Some of these old school bodybuilders had it right too. To where some of those old school guys, they would, like Rich Piana, for example, you know, it's funny because we like to make fun of the meathead aspect and whatnot, but realistically, a lot of that bro science has some real accuracy to it, you know?
Yeah, because it's tried and true.
Exactly. And, you know, because, like, you know, move some heavy iron and eat a lot of food. And, you know, Rich Piana would be on camera saying, you don't eat enough.
Yeah.
You need to force feed yourself. You
Yeah.
know, and this was obviously talking to aspiring young bodybuilders in a lot of ways. But to a degree, it's like, there are times where, okay, at dinner, push yourself to finish the meal.
Yeah.
Push yourself to eat a little bit more.
Yeah.
You don't have to force feed yourself. You don't have to turn it into a puke fest or something like that.
Right.
It really just looks like, okay, I'm uncomfortable, but I'm going to eat a little bit more and then I'm going to stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Because at least I went past that point.
Exactly.
Yeah, it might have sucked, but also now I'm going to be more resilient because of it.
And we're not saying that you immediately have to increase by 1,000 calories.
That'd be impressive if you could do that.
It would be.
Yeah.
It would be very uncomfortable. It's certainly possible. The weight gain would happen fast.
Sure as I would.
But start by having an extra plate at your meal, you know, at dinner or something, or even a half a plate, you know, or whatever it is. You can start in small increments. And again, the same idea goes for the other side of the spectrum, just the other way.
Yep.
You know, have a little bit less, not to the point where you don't have anything to eat. Because I feel like with cutting weight, you have to be a little bit more careful of not going way under your maintenance calories.
And then you stop moving as much too because you don't have as much energy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's where I was getting to. You know, with gaining weight, you still have to be careful. And again, it's not increasing your calories immediately by 1,000 and then just repeating that for months on end, because then we're not having good weight gain. You know, the fat is going to go up a lot higher and a lot faster as well, likely, because if you're gaining weight, you're probably not eating 100% super clean the whole time because you're just trying to get calories in.
Very possible.
You know,
I was crushing pizza in college to do that. Yeah.
And you know, we still crush pizza sometimes, and that's okay.
So crave case of White Castle too.
We've done that once,
like 3 years ago, I think.
and we did it together.
It was great.
So we had 15 each.
Don't know if my toilet enjoyed it very much, but
That's still so crazy. We need to do that again.
100%.
Make a YouTube video out of it.
We can do like a Chick-fil-A mukbang or something.
Okay.
Like that I would be all about.
Okay.
All about. Yeah.
We'd be very full after that.
Worth it. So good. Chick-fil-A is awesome.
It is. I don't remember where I was going. I think it was pretty clear where I was going with all that, though. I think we've made our points here. The point is, don't only do cardio, lift weights, eat more than what you think you need to. It's pretty basic.
No Twink status.
No Twink status.
Nope.
Don't be a Gabel.
Don't be OG Gable.
All right. At the end of all of our non-guest episodes, Money Mitch will ask us a Q&A question that's submitted by you guys, the viewers or the listeners. We have a few different ways that we would like you to submit these questions to us. First, you can DM them to us on Instagram at untapped.llp on Instagram. You can also DM them to us individually or text them to us individually if you have our number. You can also email them to us. Our email is untappedllp@gmail.com. No longer is it extricationfitness@gmail.com.
Very nice.
It is now the same
Clean slate.
as our handles. Yes. I actually need to switch that for us. That's a good reminder to myself. I'm glad I just said that on our socials. So anyway, the email is now untappedllp@gmail.com. So it's the same as all of our social handles and all that. Much easier for you guys, much easier to say and spell. You can also leave your questions in the comments of any of our social media posts. We are very active on Instagram, TikTok, X, YouTube, and YouTube Shorts. So you can leave the questions in the comments on any of those platforms. These questions, they can be about anything, health and fitness related. They can be current event related. They can be funny. We love the funny ones. It could just be a question that you have, and we will give our best shot at it. All of these questions then get sent over to Mustache Man number 2 over there. Man, it looks good. I'm very proud of you.
Tell me about it. Talk to me.
They all get sent to him. He will then pick one out to go along with the end of the episode. Take a little breath here. A little breather. 1, 2, 3. All right, Mitch, you're up.
What would you guys say to those that say hybrid athlete training is not the best of both worlds, but instead it makes you weaker than an average weightlifter and not as fast as a runner who dedicates to that? You're a jack of all trades, but master of none, so to speak.
I would refer you to the many excellent hybrid athletes that currently exist.
Yeah, overall,
we named some of them. At the beginning.
Now, granted, I will say there is some truth to the jack of all trades,
for sure,
and master of none, for sure. There is definitely truth to that. Like, you'll be basically just mid all the way around is essentially some people's argument. Overall, I mean, the funny thing about being a hybrid athlete is that you're going to be still fitter than 99.9% of the population doing it. So, that's sure. Point. Like, will there be weightlifters stronger than you? Yeah. Will there be marathon runners faster than you? Yeah. But also, you'll have a good amount of the best of both worlds to a certain degree.
Exactly. So, you're going to be an overall extremely healthy human being.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that actually matters the most, because while there will be weightlifters that are lifting more than you, and there will be runners that are running faster and farther than you, you will be able to run much better than those weightlifters that are lifting more than you, and you will be able to lift more than those runners that are running faster or longer than you.
True.
So,
true. Opposite game plan there.
To kind of flip the answer there, almost flip the question a little bit, it's still an overall, probably the best way to train for overall health. Now, if you have specific goals, it may not be. And it depends on what those goals are.
Exactly the caveat I was going to make. Because if you're trying to be an Olympic weightlifter, if you're trying to be an actual competitive power lifter and whatnot, obviously you're going to put more focus into the weightlifting side of things. You should never have cardio be completely taken out, obviously, as we've made a point of. But it will take a back seat to the weightlifting in that scenario. Just like vice versa. If you're primarily training for Ironmans or marathons or whatever, type of endurance event you want to think of, then obviously weight training shouldn't be entirely out of your routine, but it's going to take a back seat to your cardiovascular training. Yeah. Obviously, in this scenario.
Well, and there's, there's a reason the Hyrox thing has blown up like it has. Because it's a competition, first of all.
Best of both worlds,
but it's a competition of both of those, and I don't think we could find many people that wouldn't want to look like legitimate Hyrox athletes. Physically, just their physique.
Yeah, like the Grumkeys, the Josh Wards at 1P and stuff like that.
Lexi's husband.
Yeah,
Brett. I mean, dude, he's a unit.
Dog.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's 100% right. Yeah, and realistically, again, if you're talking about a general population person, doing both and you don't have to call yourself a hybrid athlete either.
Sure.
It's really like we talked about before. It's just training, strength training, and training cardio.
Yeah.
Like you're doing both.
Right.
That's it. Like it's being a normal human for the most part.
Correct.
If you're not trying to be a pro athlete of some sort or an endurance or a weightlifting event person, like I think you'll be okay being a hybrid athlete, so to speak. And that word just gets. It's more just that the word gets turned into like kind of cornball festival because some people are corny about it.
Sure.
Just like there's some weightlifting aspects that gets turned really corny, which we could do a whole episode on gym culture and the corniness of it in general. But yeah, overall, I'd say you're doing both and it's a good thing.
Yeah.
So.
No, 100%. Guys, that is episode 176. Please remember to share the show. It is free and easy for you to do, and it helps us out a ton. Until next time, peace and love.
Thank you, ladies and frickin' gentlemen.